it's funny that you said the you only know, and because I've been saying this for my whole career, you only know what you know because of what you know. That is an original Daniel Alonzo quote. It's
Bang.
going to be in one of those quote books one of these days. Okay? You only know what you know because of what you know, and it's true, because we only know, and sometimes we're so certain. That's the tough thing sometimes, right? We feel like we're so certain about certain things, but then later on, we find out we were completely wrong. We were completely misguided, and we were so sure about it. And we yelled it, we screamed it. But then later on, we went, wait a minute, maybe after we got a different perspective, or life, kicked you in the balls, you know what I mean? Like you started to go, okay, man, maybe that wasn't right. And so, but look, I mean, we all have shortcomings. I mean, my challenge, one of my issues, through the years is I think that I was too tough. I mean, we have 49 locations. We've been blessed in business. We have an organization of 1,500 licensed agents now. And, life is, financially, and freedom and choices and options, all that stuff. But the truth is, I think I could be 5 times as big if I would have been a little bit less tough. I was very tough. I was a very tough coach. I was a very, in your face, and I probably lost some good people by not having better empathy. And you said that. And I think that's one of your strengths, is having empathy now. And I think that's one thing that I'm starting to learn. And so we all make mistakes, man. We all screw up. And the good news is that we can make a ton of mistakes and we could still have a great life. We could still succeed if we don't give up, if we don't quit. We just keep getting better, keep pushing forward. Any thoughts on that?
100%. And also, is it really a mistake if we learn from it and then we use it to improve in future endeavors? I believe not. So the only way we lose is if we don't learn from stuff. And empathy, it's something I've really worked on over the last couple of years, and it goes a long way, especially with building rapport and gaining trust with people. So I love that you also agreed with that.
Yeah, no, it's big stuff. And I know you have, you have some strengths, and we all would say, hey, I'm really good at this one thing. What would you say is one of those things that you feel, and that you would kind of pat yourself, humbly, you would pat yourself on the back and you go, I'm pretty freaking good at that. What would you say?
Yeah, for me, it's a simple answer. And I believe it's the reason why CLS has exploded, is my ability to communicate with people, help them see their own potential that they never saw, and want to take inspired action. A lot of people can read a book or watch a Rocky movie or go to a webinar or a masterclass. And the next day, they're back where they started. They don't take any positive action. It seems as though I have a good ability to get through to people, to make them want to take that first step, to take inspired action, to leave them in an elevated state, so to speak. Believe that's my gift. And that's why I married that with the personal development to start CLS.
And so now that you've been doing this for a couple of years now, do you see some common challenges that people have right now? And that, is there a little bit of a trend that you see, that a lot of people are kind of making some, making their life a little harder than they have to make it? Any thoughts?
100%, brother. I think the common thing that I see in most people when I first meet them, or I begin to work with them, or they're in my membership, whatever the case may be, is unworthiness. A lot of people have an idea, but who's going to listen to them, right? The voice in their head, why you, what's your testimonial, whatever the case may be. And they psych themselves out before they even start. That's the problem. That's why one of my favorite things that I love to say is 3 words: why not you? Right? Because if it's not you, it's going to be somebody else, so to speak. So I think unworthiness and people just having a low self-image of themselves. And I'm sure you've heard this before. I didn't make it up, but you can't surpass your own self-image. So if you only believe what is possible for yourself to a certain extent, you'll never be able to go above that. It's like a governor on a sports car. You can't go to a top speed. I think people have a lack of confidence.
Like, why do you think that you are so driven? I'm listening to you, and I mean, you got so much wisdom, you got so much drive, you got so much focus in how you're communicating here. And what's the end result for you, man? I mean, what is it? And again, bring on the $1 billion. I'm okay with taking the $1 billion, but I'm with you, man. I mean, I'll keep doing the same thing. I've been financially free since I was 28 years old, and I've never stopped teaching. I've never stopped training. I've never stopped
Yeah.
self-improving or developing on, in my life. I'm going to be 47 on November 22nd. And
47
so,
years young.
47 years young, man. And so I've never felt more inspired, never felt more fired up about life. And so like, what, why are you doing this, man?
I just love this stuff, bro. The personal development stuff, seeing the light come in people's eyes, like, whoa, like that was a breakthrough. Like I didn't realize I was capable of that. I legitimately love this stuff. And also, like on my podcast, we have the top 5 business podcasts right now on planet Earth. Some of the biggest A-list celebrities on the planet. This week, we just dropped Rob Dyrdek. We've had our mutual friend John Asseroff on and so forth, and Suzanne Summers. I love to pick the brain of the greats and find out it wasn't always like that, right? What was their mindset like when they had adversity? What makes them tick? What makes them become super successful? And then I love to share that content with the audience so they could find it relatable in some of the world's biggest stars, that anybody can do these things. They can make that switch. They can get rid of those disempowering thoughts, right? Change the frequency, the vibration, all that stuff. I legitimately just love this. I'm so passionate about it. And I just want to impact more billions of people. CLS has a meteoric rise so far, but as I like to say, don't blink. We're just getting warmed up. I just want to support and inspire more. I know this podcast can be great. We're going to hit a little bit different of an audience. I just want to help everybody. Legitimately, genuinely want to see everybody fly.
Fantastic. And so there are a lot of entrepreneurs, small business men and women out there right now that are watching and listening, and they're thinking, okay, because you've done a good job at branding yourself. You've done a great job at, putting out your podcast. It's a world-class podcast. You've done a great job at your graphics and the things that you put out to the world. So how important is social media and branding to a young, inspiring entrepreneur in America and around the world today?
Yeah, I think it's huge. And the good news is it's very accessible because social media is essentially free, right? It's an unbelievable marketing tool and platform. Look, like I always tell my clients who want to build personal brands, you could have the greatest content in the world. You could have unbelievable stuff to say, but if there's no audience, if there's no eyeballs on you, then it just goes to waste. So in terms of marketing and building a personal brand and standing out, I think that's huge. And then once you have the audience or a audience, right? And then you continue to do great stuff. You put out great content. You leave tangible tools. Listen, word of mouth is on steroids. People will share it. It'll spread like wildfire. But there's got to be an audience to see what you have going on. And social media is a phenomenal tool or a vehicle, if you will, to drive eyeballs to your brand so you continue to do what you do best, explode and inspire millions and hopefully billions.
Thank you for watching our short clips on Alonzo Academy. If you'd like to watch the next short clip, click here. If you'd like to watch the entire podcast, click here.